All right, Puppies heading to the state capitol in Hartford this morning. The Connecticut Humane Society will gather with furry friends to highlight who's impacted by bills like Goldies Act. Joining us this morning, a face you know well, James Bias with the Connecticut Humane Society, and the star of the morning, little
This is
Speckles.
Yes, and Speckles is going to get to enjoy some time in the Capitol building today with elected officials and administrators.
With a lot of new friends. So I'll jump into that specific legislation in just a moment. But big picture, James, every year you're up there, you draw all kinds of attention. What's the bottom line goal for you folks?
So sometimes we have legislation that we're trying to get voted through. In other instances, we're just trying to remind elected officials and administrators that animal laws have a place in our society. As a matter of fact, the first child abuse laws were adapted from animal cruelty laws because that's how we made our living. If you injured my horse, you injured my livelihood, and so the first child abuse case actually was an animal cruelty law.
So we're hearing a little bit about Goldies Act this morning. It is national legislation that became law. What is it about? How is it kind of helping in your eyes?
You know, Connecticut doesn't have a whole bunch of industrial breeder puppy mills, but there are consumers. There are people who are purchasing animals that are coming in from out of state that come from USDA inspected facilities that many are in gross violation. And so Goldies Act is really to force USDA to do their job and give them more tools in their toolbox to be able to go after the bad actors.
You have been fortunate to work across the country in this line of work. I believe Texas before you came here. How is Connecticut doing comparatively when it comes to initiatives to protect animals in our state?
You know, I think in many areas, animals are very important in our lives across the country. In Connecticut, certainly we experienced that during the pandemic. Pets were our emotional life preservers. But I think we still have room to improve. We have animal shelter standards that have recently been upgraded. We're still waiting for those rules to be codified so they can be handed out to the townships and cities to make sure that their shelters are complying. And we always have room to improve. I know Department of Agriculture is looking at just some language changing to kind of meet 2024 standards. Sometimes this language was drafted 50 years ago. And so we still have continued work to try to elevate the status and well-being of our pets.
You have this uniquely cute approach to getting attention at the state capitol. Have you seen it translate over the years into real action from folks?
You know, last year when we had Puppy Day, it was a longer session, but there was a bill that was being introduced and voted on the floor in the House, and we had 154 votes yes, 2 against. And so I would say it was a positive thing. I think that the support would have already been there. But, you know, this is a short session. There are a number of very important bills, and this is really just to remind our elected officials that we're going to be coming back next year.
All right, so I can already hear people at home who are watching this morning saying, is Speckles available for adoption?
So Speckles is still going through some medical work, non-contagious. So all the puppies we're taking today are still in a foster home situation. They'll be going up on our website over the next few weeks, cthumane.org.
I suspect Speckles will not be with you long. James, always good to see you. I suspect long lines up at the state capitol this morning. Good luck up there. Matt Scott, Speckles.
Speckles.
Adorable.
We had said to James, bring all the puppies in, just to let them run amok in the newsroom and see how much work we get done.
Not much.